All right, so this is a reaction or review on, episode 5 of Blue Therapy. But before we even get into this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification because you never know the video you suggest might just be next. And you can leave your suggestions in the comment section below. Also, if you're on Twitter, follow us on Twitter. If you're on Facebook, follow us on Facebook. If you're on Instagram, follow us on Instagram. Alright then, so let's get into this video. You know what's interesting about Blue Therapy? For some reason, it just gets wilder per episode. Like, I'm gonna repeat this again. For some reason, it gets wilder per episode. However, there is a however here. The however part is, what we do on what we're doing with these type of things here is by reviewing reaction, it's giving lessons. So if you're down for that, continue to watch. But let's go. Get me? Because whether you think the show's real or fake, it don't matter at this point, right? What really matters is these problems exist, and it's about trying to resolve these problems or at least prevent them in the first place. Yeah. All right. So boom, I've got some notes, so you're gonna see me looking down from time to time. But in fact, yeah. Alright, let's go. Alright, so boom. So the first lesson or whatever the case is, Paul blames the therapy session for Choma not coming back home. Now here's the problem. No accountability. I swear I watched something. Yeah, it was 3 Shots of Tequila podcast. Pick them up. Get me. But basically, he was saying how he's a strong black man, this, that, and the third. I'm like, yo, if you're a strong black man, you won't be acting the way that you're acting, you know what I mean, in front of the camera like that. Especially if you're saying you think this therapy session is bullshit, or let me rephrase that. You think it's BS. Do you see what I mean? So it's like, be a man, and if you're not good, if you don't want to do something, be a man and say, I'm not doing this. Yeah, I don't believe this will help. If you believe you want to go to the pastor to help you with your relationship, then do that. You lead. You're the man. You lead. Do you see what I'm saying? But that's the problem. Some people don't understand, or some guys don't understand that they are the leader. Do you see what I mean? It's them that lead. The women follows. I'm not saying that women do not lead. They do lead in some aspects, but it's about understanding if you don't want to do something and you find that there's a different route. Anyway, put it this way. This is why boys need to learn how to develop as a man, yeah, and mature more as a man and know what their true traits are. Because when they are able to do that, then naturally everything will take care of itself. Simple and plain. All right. So also the second point is oh yeah, but alright. So boom, he's blaming the therapy session, but did he not forget what he said? Did he not forget what he said about Chima? Yeah, and how he treated her. Do you see what I mean? Did he not forget how he, like, of course he's not gonna come back home. Of course he's gonna, you know what I mean? Like, it's a no-brainer. Take accountability. Be like, you know what? It's my fault, So this is what I'm gonna have to do to make sure, you know what I mean? But anyway. So the second point I want to make is Paulo, oh yeah, he obviously arrived to the next session alone, and he hopes that Choma turns up, which she does. Which, to my surprise, I'm surprised that she even turned up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm actually surprised. Um, you know, big her up for that. You know what I mean? Because obviously she wants the relationship to work, and it was her that It was her that, called for the therapy session in the first place. So it kind of makes sense for her to turn up anyway. But and then also, so yeah, Choma feels there is no love there, and she sees no point in fighting to save the relationship. At last, I'm gonna put that GIF or whatever you call it, or that clip of the Matrix where Morpheus turns around to be like, at last. You know what I mean? So let me edit that in. Boom. All right. So and you know what's interesting about that particular situation is when you understand that someone is for you or that isn't for you or what the case is, you are better put in the how do I put it? It's like you know what to do next. Like in this particular situation, if you feel, whether you're a man or woman, if you feel that there is no I hate to use the word love, but if you feel like there's no love there, there's no like you know what I mean, there's not the energy that you want there, basically, and you see no point in fighting to save the relationship, then don't do it. Do you see what I mean? Don't do it. Especially if you've been given so many warning signs. Like, how many signs do you actually need? In how many years? Do you see what I mean? I'm not saying that, you know, you shouldn't fight to save a relationship, because in some cases, yeah, do fight. Do you know what I mean? Do fight to save the relationship. You know what I mean? Be on some Cheryl Cole. I don't know why I call her Cheryl Cole. Like, she's no longer married to Ashley Cole. Cheryl Tweedy Farms. I mean, Cheryl Tweedy, right? Listen, I used to call her Cheryl Tweedy Farms, and it is what it is. That was back in the day. But anyway, yeah, fight for this love, innit? Get me on that tip. If it's worth fighting for, but if you feel like you know what I mean, like there's no point that. Anyway, let's just keep moving. Yeah. So the fourth point, Denise, the therapist, asks Paul how his week's been, and Paul asks if that's a trick question. In the comments section, yeah, on in Blue Therapy, you know, I was mad interested. Like, you see, someone said she Denise was slightly shading Paul, which I think she was. I'm not gonna lie to you, but maybe she wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know, but it was hilarious. I can't lie to you. I'm like, rah, is that how she's moving? Is that how she is moving? Um, yeah. So I mean, just like the thing is, again, Paul should just be a man and answer the question correctly. Don't be like, is that a trick question? Let's be like, be real. We're in a therapy session. Say, look, you know, I'm actually upset that Choma didn't come back home, and you know what I mean, like, because then it's easier for her to do what's necessary. It's easy for Denise to ask certain questions that will lead to resolving that particular issue there. Do you see what I mean? Like, or if you're in a therapy session or you're speaking to friends or speaking to someone that could genuinely help you, it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's a thing where just be honest. If like the funny thing about life, yeah, not funny thing, but I remember like my foster mom, yeah, big her up. Like, she said to me, I don't even know the original. She said it to me on so many different occasions, but that's besides the point. But basically, I can't remember the original time, but like basically, she said to me, "Oh, oh, yes, what's it? Be honest. You know what I mean? Tell the truth, yeah. Because if you don't tell the full truth, then I can't help you." Like, deep that for a moment. If you don't tell the full truth, then I can't help you. And it's facts. Because if you don't have all the facts, if the person doesn't have all the facts, you know what I mean? And you know that they can help you, you know what I mean? And in that age, those ages, my foster mom could help me in it. So it's like, you get me? Eventually I ended up telling the truth, and she ended up helping me. Like, she stuck to her words, isn't it? Stuck to her word. So big her up for that. But the point is, in general, just tell the truth, innit? You're in a therapy session, tell the truth. Yeah? You're or even if you're not in a therapy session, you're in a relationship, just tell the truth. Like, what's the worst that can happen? What? The relationship ending. So just get into a new one when you're ready, innit? Get me? Alright, well, I don't see what the big deal is. Anyway, um, And then Paul says hi to Choma in a high pitched voice similar to Denise and gets aired, which is hilarious. It's hilarious. And I don't understand why he would do that. Like, and this is what I'm saying. If you're a strong black man, why are you doing that? Just say hi to her normal, innit? Get me? And obviously, if she's still vexed, still upset, try and console her, innit? You know what I mean? That's your woman, innit? Get me? Yeah. Get me? Anyway. But yeah. So I can completely understand why Choma would air him like that, because it's like you're not saying hi to her normal. Do you know what I mean? Like, get me? Like, if my woman was to, it's like if we had to fight. In fact, no, I wouldn't do that because I'm not petty like that or emotional. So I don't know. But anyway, let's just keep moving. The 6 point. Alright, you could feel the tension in the room when Denise asked Paul and Choma about the homework she gave. Do you see what I mean? See, this is why I said earlier that Paul and Paul should have just kept it real, kept it honest. Like, my week hasn't been blah blah blah. It went this way because of this, that. So we were unable to do the homework. Like, how could I do the homework? You know what I mean? So you can preempt it. You could have preempted it. But the funny thing is, um, you know, if you do feel a way about a problem you caused, then you have to be accountable for your actions. And you have to, because let's say you're in a relationship, yeah, and you're not seeing a therapist, you're not seeing anyone else to help your relationship, whatever, then it's like, all right, so how do you solve this problem of your, you know, you and your partner or whatever been having a fight, and you know what I mean? Like, and he or she's been blanking you, whatever the case is. Try to call, she ain't picking up. Try to text, they're not picking up, but they're on social media. How do you know what I mean? That like, if you've been with someone for more than 2 to 3 years or whatever, that is gonna hurt because it's like you're so used to the situation. So you know what I mean? It's like you need to be honest about how you feel. Be like, this is how it makes me feel. Yeah, how does it make you feel? You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? Just talk, bruv. Like, talk. Like, I don't understand why. Like, all I'm saying is, if you're a man, I'm not saying to be overly expressive with your words. Be expressive with your actions. And if she's like, give it 3 chances. Yeah. And if she's not responding, yeah, don't call her back to back. Don't message her back to back. If she's not responding after 3 attempts, yeah, you just leave the situation until she calls you. It's better that way anyway. It's better when a woman comes calling back to you anyway. Like, it's so much better, yeah, because she's more, submissive. She feels like, you know what I mean, sorry for her actions and all that stuff there. Even if she's not in the wrong and you're in the wrong, you know what I mean? And, you know, just if roles are reversed, it's the same scenario, isn't it? But it is more better for women to apologize. No, I'm talking about, it is more better when you're just open and honest with how you feel with each other. You know what I mean? Women with their words, men with their actions. Both should be with their actions, but I understand the dynamics of between a man and a woman. Basically, I'll explain that much more later on. Right, this video gone over 14 minutes already. Damn, and we're only on 7. All right, so Denise asks if they spent together. So Denise asks if they spent together in the last week, and Choma says she's been at her sister's. She felt the last session didn't go as she wanted it to, and then Paul has given her bad vibes. She goes on to say Paul has given her bad vibes, and she has reached her breaking point. Do you see what I mean? So from that moment there, if you reach a breaking point, that is the moment you end the relationship. I understand that Chilma called for the therapist for them to do, you know what I mean, to try and resolve the relationship or help or heal the relationship, but they messed up, like not messed up, but like it opened more wounds to the point where sometimes, like, you know, when you're healing, right? Sometimes when that wound heals, that scar is still there. Do you know what I mean? Like it's still there. So it's a thing of the wound is still fresh. So in order for Choma in this case to heal from this situation, is she's going to have to address this situation by actually leaving the situation. You see what I mean? Like sometimes with scars or cuts or whatever you want to call it, it's like, you know, like if you scratch it, it makes it worse. And sometimes you end up getting a scab and it itches, isn't it? And you want to itch it so badly, but when you itch it, what happens? It worsens, right? So when you leave it alone, that's when it heals. Do you see what I mean? So that's what you have to do in certain situations. You have to leave it alone, like completely. Yeah? Completely. Even if the scar's gonna still be there, but at least if the scar's still there, you don't necessarily have to go back to the situation. You know what I mean? You don't have to, how do I explain it? It's like, it's hard to really explain, but it's like, for example, I don't know, I can't think of an example right now, but anyway, I'm sure you get the point. Yeah. All right. So boom. Where was I? Okay. So number 8. Paul was asked how did it make him feel that Choma moved out. His response was it was her idea to come here when he is upset. No, so basically it was Choma's idea to come there to the therapy, and when Paul is upset, Choma complains that he storms off and has a tantrum and throws his toys out the pram. But that's kind of what she did, or kind of what she just did. Which, alright, to a degree, you could be right, but for a man, yeah, like I'm gonna keep this completely 100, yeah, because I'm on neither anyone's side. I want you to understand that, right? First of all, as a man, if you feel a way about something that your woman's doing, you don't need to resort to being emotional or doing petty stuff. Yeah. Now I've done that in the past, and I won't lie to you. Yeah. But I've done that in the past, and I will never do that again. Yeah. Because I now know how to react like a man. Yeah. So the situation is, you confront the situation. You let them know that you don't like this. Boom, boom, boom. So can you do this to, you know what I mean? Like in terms of what are you gonna do to make up to me, basically? And or you know what I mean, or ask her how you're gonna, like, if they say sorry, which 9 out of 10 times they will say sorry. You know what I mean? It's like that's when you ask them, what are you willing to do to make it up to me? And they are willing to do whatever it takes to make it up to you. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's not rocket science. You know what I mean? You don't need to resort to being petty and storming out. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, if you had it's hard to explain. It's like, what you don't want to do as a man, right? Is you don't want to have heated conversations. What you want to do is, all right. I'm not saying to storm out, but just say, look, right now, boom. I'm not. I need to get my head clear. Basically, I'm gonna collect my thoughts. We're gonna come back to this, so I can think logically about this and how we move in regards to this problem and how we can solve this problem. That's what you do. Let them know what you're doing. Yeah. So now they have to let you, go get some peace of mind. When you get your peace of mind, you explain what's gonna happen next. Do you see what I mean? You are the leader. You are the problem solver. Do you see what I mean? You don't resort to being emotional. So for Choma to like, and when you deep it, technically, she didn't throw her prams at the toys at the pram or whatever, or had a tantrum. She just basically left. So it's just, you know what I mean? So I don't know what he's talking about. That's just from my perspective, innit? Like I'm just calling how I see it. Like, um, which is ironic that Choma, the next point I'm gonna make is Choma said that she just needed peace, and sometimes she rather choose peace over war. Do you see what I mean? Like, so that's what you gotta do sometimes. Like, you need peace. You know what I mean? Collect your thoughts. All right. So the next point is. Alright, so she still right to the next session, which says it all what she really wants or whatever. And then the 11th point I wanted to make was Paul believes the word war is a strong word. Drummer said it as a constant battle at home. He doesn't listen. You know what I mean? And you know, I've heard. Alright, listen. Uh, I've heard that before, yeah, and from personal experience, where some of my exes say I don't listen. I do listen, but it's a thing of a situation where sometimes the understanding is completely different. Do you see what I mean? Or my response is not how they thought I was going to respond. Do you see what I mean? So there's a difference. Um, in this case, it's really tricky. Um, but yeah, if you feel like your partner's not listening, then you know the only thing you can do is leave, because then they will listen. Because it's like, oh, that hurt. You left, and the way you left hurt. Of clearly, Paul's hurt. So obviously, you know what I mean. That's the perfect time to learn certain situations and what to do next. You know what I mean. Um, and yeah, if there's a constant battle at home and that, yeah, you're better off simply just saying, forget this relationship. What's the point? I'm trying to see what the timing is on here. Anyway, let me see if I can breeze through this. All right, so basically, where was I? All right, so and then Denise, no, where is it? All right, so the next point is they both want to move forward, but Paul wants an apology from Choma because she is posting on social media but not returning his calls or messages. Now listen, this is what's so mad. You can't expect a woman to apologize to you if she's on, like, alright, put it this way. This is where accountability comes in. You did the wrong. So really, you're the one that should be saying sorry to her. Do you know what I mean? If you're, excuse me, no edits. Like if you're how to put it, if you're in a situation, yeah, like this, you have to understand one thing clearly, and that is understanding that you have to put yourself in a position where, you know, if you're saying sorry and you did nothing wrong, fair enough. No, that didn't come out right. If you done nothing wrong, then cool. You don't have to say sorry. If they've done something wrong, then cool. But what has Choma done wrong? Nothing. Like, you tell me what she done wrong. Nothing, right? So, what? She should apologize for not returning his call. No. Like, think about it. Me personally, I understand if I if I acted the way that Paul did towards my woman or whatever, guess what happens? I'm gonna expect, yeah? I'm going to expect a reaction that way to the point where I'm gonna have to apologize. You know what I mean? And how a man should apologize is always through his actions, never through his words. Yeah. Anyway, Yeah, so before we get into Deborah Paul, this one's just gonna be about Chama and and Paul in it. So I'd rather just break it down like that because there's bare things to go through. I'm just clocking it. Alright, so the next point is Choma lists the 5 things that good things about Paul, which is a good protector, interesting, a good leader, huh? Okay, maybe what she's seen in the past 3 years, fair enough, but from what we saw on the show, yeah, I mean, because leadership, yeah, protector is one thing, because I can't really see how he's protecting her, but technically, did he protect her by, in the past 3 episodes? No. So, is he really a good protector? You tell me. Where is it? So yeah, good leader. So it's like, all right, boom, leader, yeah, okay. Has he really been a good leader? Because think about it. Someone that leads, if they don't want to be in a situation, they're not going to be there. You know what I mean? If they would rather it be someone else helping them with their relationship problems and stuff like that, they will go to that route. They won't even be there. Like, they won't be on blue therapy like this. So, from my perspective, you know what I mean? But if someone wants to call him a good leader, then that's on her. That's on her. Family orientated. Alright, we got that vibe from him because obviously he's his nieces and nephews and stuff like that, and his sister and that. So cool. Can check that box. I can understand that. She also mentioned he has his head screwed on. Really? So he's not giving you no sex. He's mistreating you, calling you out. Mistreating you. And yeah, and he basically dished you in front of many people, like cameras and millions of people are watching. So, Anyway, that's just me. I'm just thinking out loud. And then she mentioned he can be caring and loving which she loved about him. And then Paul listed his 5 things, this is the 14th point, which she's like a best friend. When they first dated, they would do everything together, used to finish each other's sentences, food, very caring, very considerate, very driven, very passionate, and yeah, she motivates him. Do you know what? This has gone, I think it's gone over 30. I can't even see. Yeah. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna do a part 2. It's not gonna be like Paul. This one's gonna be about Paul and Chama. I'm just gonna go run through it all. So listen, see you on part 2. Definitely watch part 2 in it. Yeah. Alright, so hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification because you never know the video you suggest might be next. But if you want any information on exactly how dating and relationships actually work, to actually maintain it, to actually grow it, click the link in the description box below where it says become a member of the Alkebulantrust. You get access to online courses such as roles and relationships, and you learn all the vital pieces of information that you need to know. Yeah, get me? Because that's very vital if you want relationships to actually work. Yeah, because information is key. Because think about it, you are where you are in your relationship, or maybe you don't have a relationship anymore, but because of the information you had at the time. You know what I mean? And it could have been, well, it definitely was false because otherwise you'll still be in that relationship. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification because you never know the video you suggest might just be next.